Your brain is essentially a wet, 3-pound ham that consumes 20% of your daily calories just to sit in a dark skull and lie to you about your social standing. It never actually turns off, even when you are staring at a wall trying to sleep. If you have ever laid in bed at 2 in the morning, while your mind vividly replayed a slightly awkward interaction you had with a cashier in 2012, you have met the default mode network. When you stop actively doing chores or staring at a spreadsheet, this specific web of brain regions kicks into high gear. It is the mental equivalent of a car's engine revving loudly the second you put it in neutral. Scientists used to think a resting brain was a quiet brain, but neuroimaging showed that the moment you stop focusing on the outside world, your head lights up like a pinball machine. Your brain hates a vacuum. If you do not give it a spreadsheet to look at, it will happily invent a fake argument with your brother-in-law just to keep itself entertained. This internal monologue is not a design flaw. It is a survival mechanism from the past when assuming a rustling bush was a tiger kept you alive, whereas assuming it was just the wind got you eaten. The default mode network is basically a committee of anxious historians, amateur screenwriters, and nosy neighbors living inside your prefrontal cortex. Its primary job is to simulate scenarios, predict the future, and analyze your past mistakes so you do not repeat them. Unfortunately, it does this with all the grace of a toddler playing a drum set. While you are trying to brush your teeth, this system is running millions of calculations about whether your coworker's email tone meant they secretly despise you. It is like your head is running an old Windows 95 screensaver that never stops bouncing around the edges of your consciousness. If you try to force it to be quiet by screaming at yourself to stop thinking, you actually just end up thinking about thinking. You're trying to put out a kitchen fire by throwing gasoline at it. The harder you push against the noise, the more energy the network gets. It feeds on your frustration because attention is its fuel. This constant background noise is also highly preoccupied with your social status because, for 99% of human history, getting kicked out of the tribe meant freezing to death in a ditch. So your brain treats a minor social rejection like a literal physical threat. It keeps you awake scanning for danger, even when the only danger is a slightly high electric bill. Your mind is constantly building a simulation of who you are, what people think of you, and what might happen next week. It is a non-stop, low-budget movie production where you play every single part. This is why meditation is so difficult for beginners. You sit down to find inner peace, and within 40 seconds, your brain is loudly wondering what the guy who invented the toaster is doing right now. It is that Windows 95 screensaver again, just bouncing off the corners of your mind while you try to find the metaphoric power button. The noise only truly dips when you engage in something called deep flow, which happens when a task is exactly difficult enough to require your entire processing power. When you are rock climbing, playing a fast video game, or chopping onions very quickly, the default mode network finally sits down and shuts up because the meat computer needs every single watt of power just to keep your fingers attached. But the moment the onions are chopped, the committee reconvenes to discuss that weird thing you said to your boss 3 months ago. It is an exhausting way to live, but it is also the exact reason humans built skyscrapers, developed modern medicine, and figured out how to put cheese inside a pizza crust. Animals do not seem to have this specific brand of existential dread. A golden retriever does not lie awake wondering if the neighbor's poodle thinks its bark sounds stupid. Our hyperactive internal monologue is the tax we pay for having the computing power to predict tomorrow's weather. If your brain was completely quiet, you would probably be peaceful. You would also probably get hit by a bus because you forgot to look both ways. So the next time your head is buzzing with useless, unprompted thoughts at 3 in the morning, remember that it is just the system doing its daily maintenance work. Your mind is just a tired employee trying to protect you from tigers that died out 10,000 years ago by using a clunky, unupdated operating system. It is just that old Windows 95 screensaver doing its endless, predictable loops in the dark, hoping it hits the corner perfectly just once. You cannot really turn it off. You can only learn to let the background noise play while you get on with your day. If you like this type of videos, please consider hitting like and subscribe for more. See you in the next one.